this map. And I think he could be the X factor when it comes to performing. And as far as X factors are concerned, we talked so much about how Oman has been this X factor. He's been this person. He got kills in 3 rounds total in the previous game, right? He clearly had a very rough game. But I don't know if he has that same ability to pick it up again the way, you know, we saw from Dobu and Cabal in that second map. He is a veteran, but is he that kind of veteran?
Yeah, I mean, hasn't really had to be in one of these types of roles as well in terms of like being a space taker or someone that's being a risk taker. He seems to have slotted in well on some maps, but others maybe a little bit absent. Final map of our lower bracket, TYLOO and ATOX fighting for their lives to continue in this Asia RMR for a spot at PGL Copenhagen. It's still further and further away. That'll be day 3 when teams qualify, but both teams will want to be there.
We've seen a lot of mid-control plays with Glocks these days in the metagame. On the T side, obviously. I don't know why I added that. There are Glocks. Mercury, closing the distance. Mick with dualies. We know how deadly he can be with these. Flash or not, it's Zesta right next to him. Mick's got the one. Zesta needs to make it 2. 2 more players coming around the corner, but Dobu's push from A is what actually ends up punishing still. No one on this side, and the B side will be taken over. Dobu looking to close the distance, looking to find the player nearby, and he has. Advent is gone. He knows it's a D4 plant as well. Cabal is slowly inching forward. He's found the ninja player, and Oman's all alone. Dobu rounding the corner. He doesn't have time to play with, but he wants to accelerate. And it's all down in Oman's court. Oman trying to find the one shot. It's just one close range, but Dobu with the P2K has got that extra running accuracy as well. Will shut it down.
Yeah, he got tagged, so he was at a snail's pace in his pursuit of Oman, but still able to track him down towards the end. A very uncomfortable post plant, even though TYLOO had that little bit of a man advantage. Advent getting hard cleared there from Dobu. It's once again those two that seem to pull through for ATOX.
I mean, great stuff from Zesta as well, being able to find that extra damage. In fact, I think he might have hit the headshot through the body of JiJieHao on the second player.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it did full damage, but you still heard that very audible.
Yeah, you'll have to see that. Get those dentures out.
I mean, they're pumped. I think those are real teeth, by the way.
Aren't they still called dentures?
I
think they're still called dentures.
Maybe, but I don't think you'd refer to.
I might be wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. And they've shown real teeth in this game.
Zesta's looking to bare his fangs once again with a flashbang. Oman is gone, and JiJieHao needs to hold down the line. Generally so good on this angle. Will find one, but it's the flames that get him in the end.
Well, they'll be burdened by the fact that they're down that extra man and they've lost that space towards B. That's a dangerous prospect, especially so early in the round, and that's why TYLOO moved to reset. Coming out from spawn, this will be a very challenging angle for Zesta to adjust to, but they also may not anticipate him to be playing up so close. MP9 can be mobile, and it's just about to transition. That smoke faded, and Zesta didn't want to hang around. He sent packing instead.
Does seem like that might have been a bit of an over-commitment. Now the question is, do they think that Zesta was alone because he was trying to look for that much space? They might, but no, Mercury Slayer, regardless, accuracy playing around the pillar perfectly. The double kill with the MP9, they can do nothing about him. And as Kaze plants the bomb, little does he know the demon is in pursuit. Dobu comes in again.
Yeah, perfectly done. I mean, there's so many angles you have to be worried about there if you're Kaze in the clutch. They could be in from dark, they could be in on a flank as well. Because of that forward position, because Zesta served as that first probe, they had a lot of heads up as to how they wanted to rotate into this. Kaze had to take a risk. Moving through that smoke was unfortunately the same risk that Dobu took himself.
That's all accuracy though, man. The double kill with the MP9 over there is massive. It does feel like Zesta might have overstepped slightly, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. And man, the odds are going to be in favor of ATOX. Those were not the same at the beginning of the series.
Yeah, I mean, you have to appreciate as well, ATOX willing to throw in one of those aggressive lines so quickly coming into this game. You know, up against the force buy, it's one that has minimal utility. It actually feels like probably one of the best times you can go for it, because you know that TYLOO aren't going to have all the HEs, Molotovs that to sort of deter some of those pushes. So
I'm kind of surprised that TYLOO don't force buy again, though.
Yeah, I mean, they've been able to get a bomb plant only in that one round. Oh, actually, no, they got bomb plant here. Yeah, they did as well, and they have the bonus.
Yeah.
No, they'll be yeah, they'll have a very reinforced buy. You know, they don't want to be shortchanged as well in that util again.
Now they are entering the side of the map that has 0 occupants. So maybe a world where you get a deagle shot, things start to clear up, there's chaos, but dobu right now with the Molotov isolates out Omen. Omen is gone, accuracy rotated in quickly as well. And despite the lack of presence, that doesn't mean there is a lack of danger.
Things are looking clean. Things are looking nice here for ATOX. These pistols end up empty-handed. Not a single one of these rifles fall victim to the half-buy of TYLOO. ATOX in good spirits, moving into Anubis.
TYLOO iced out of the first 3 rounds. That is a great start for ATOX on the CT side. Especially considering that the second aspect to consider is that one of the biggest hurdles for TYLOO when they do move to their CT side will be forcing themselves to make plays, forcing themselves to be aggressive. You know, you talked about how Omen is a great addition as a playmaker. That means they didn't have that much of those playmakers before, perhaps.
And they were still somehow winning games sometimes.
Yeah.
So
a testament to how good their 5 was. And still is, really.
Yeah, and how patient they can be. They will, honestly, sometimes bore you to death. That's the way that TYLOO made their name as one of these emerging Chinese rosters, now one of the top 2 within the scene. But ATOX, under a little bit of pressure at the start of this round. It's another investment here from TYLOO, and they've already taken space towards middle, and they've still got a very wide spread of presence. So they're keeping tabs on whether ATOX choose to go for one of those aggressive lines again.
This is all to potentially set up Jamyang for a late mid lurk. It's an old specialty of his, very often from other maps. But he's in fact given it up. The threat is all they wanted to establish, and that threat does mean that accuracy will be fully occupied and cannot help on this B bomb site when the execute comes. But when that execute comes, it's not coming with the full 5.
Omen may serve as one of those late activators. Mercury is still lingering around the A side as well, so if the initial probe on B doesn't work out, there's kind of no going back for TYLOO.
And there is a Molotov for Mick as well. When the smoke dissipates, Mick's just going to chuck that one out. They don't have a smoke to interrupt the molly. What's going on? Mick ends up dying to a flash. Jamyang. Advent still trying to close the distance, but Cabal finds kills on the flank. Accuracy fully out wide, traded, but does that matter? Kaze and Mercury still separated. Kaze trying to plant inside, but with 10 seconds, he won't be able to too easily. He's going to be spotted, the bomb sticking out, and it is taken out as well. Zesta taking a round back, even if it is very close.
This was always going to be one of the risks you wagered if you were TYLOO. That initial probe, that initial core of players, 3 outside of B main, they wanted to be able to link up with Omen later on into the round. They wanted Mercury to be able to transition as well, but that double push being spotted, they kept Mercury busy. And then it's Kaze basically in a one-on-one on the bomb site, and he has basically no coverage, no help in terms of getting that bomb plant down, and that smoke did not last long enough for him to punch in those digits.
And that cinematic replay does make it also clear as well. Beautifully done.
Yeah, I mean, you can understand as well the thought process there from Kaze. If I have no coverage, I need to use the smoke. But it didn't last long enough. ATOX, it does get a little closer than some of these previous rounds. But they make a lot of the right decisions once again.
Mick's gonna have to fight this one out, and with the Molotov underneath the feet of the T side, he is happy to take the duel. Jamyang in the meanwhile, though, pushing into him. Mick holds down the line. This is so well done. Dobu as well picks up a quick double. Mick will not move. He will not budge an inch, but in the meanwhile, Oman's completely fluffed it.
Did he not know he didn't have ammo? Wasn't going to be able to get that reload in on time. Mercury has to be sent the other way, and the good news for him is that that bomb is achievable, but it has to beat past Cabal first, and he'll succeed. Took a lot of damage in that fight, though. Still something that can be taken away from ATOX here. A 1-on-3 for Mercury, where both these players on ATOX, neither of them are within pristine condition. A simple headshot would take either one of them out of the round. A missed shot from accuracy would be his undoing as well.
Mercury's really delayed it, Mick. What a clear from him.
Good timing as well.
And sure, some of that is fortuitous, but God, Mick's having a game.
Yeah, just good heads up, you know, understanding what he's exposed to and making the adjustments, you know. Never taking a moment to think, oh, I can pull my knife out, I can just chill out. Mercury's not made a step, not made any noise. Ready to scrap. And this is the thing, we haven't had a close game on any of the maps so far. So if that trend continues, ATOX they're making TYLOO look a little silly, a little sleep at the wheel.
They want that potential rematch with Grayhound. They want it bad.
Yeah, and maybe they kicked their feet up after the nuke was so one-sided. TYLOO got to sit up straight. ATOX are doing a damn good job of adjusting and bringing themselves back into this series. TYLOO have yet to show that same resilience.
I don't think that Molotov went quite where it was supposed to, but Zesta in the meanwhile is going aggressive yet again. The play is made 10 times over, it feels like, but every time finding so much. And Zesta, while he fights again, gets a quick kill on Advent, who has been sticking out like a sore thumb on these B-side hits.
Oh, a good fight there for JiJieHao. A lot of those bullets being tanked by the wall for Cabal. But the fact he's low HP, they actually don't decide to commit off of that. Don't want to go traded. That bomb was not in a position to actually pounce with them and transition into the site, but they'll see if they can keep ATOX guessing. Someone has to be kept in charge and make sure that that A player can't simply get swarmed. But ATOX are fine to double up. They've actually rotated an extra player, deep CT, and they're really concerned about this potential for an A play. TYLOO have picked the right site.
And Mick has got no utility to help himself out either. Smoke's going down, flashes from JiJieHao. If Mick can dodge the initial flashes, keep himself alive, job is well done. There's no smoke next to him. JiJieHao is low, he's the one holding down the bomb. Mick needed to find that kill, instead he'll settle for a double in dark. Not done yet though, JiJieHao finally puts him down, but he's got to close that distance and do it quick. Zesta in the meanwhile, pushing through the smoke. He knows time is on his side, he knows it!
There's nothing you can do about that. Down in members, worried about flanks, worried about canals, and Zesta makes the right play again. One of the players that served as spoiler so many times already here on Anubis, whether he's taking first fights or whether he's closing rounds when TYLOO have that clock against him.
This is the Zesta and Mick show all over the B-bomb site.
And Zesta, this player that, you know, sometimes we look at this team in online play, he is someone that can sometimes struggle to find his moments, his impact. He'll get some of these tertiary frags when the round is almost certainly opened up by somebody else. But these are moments where, should he miss, should he falter, TYLOO are right back in it. And he has not gone missing. It is silence for the TYLOO camp. These rounds are burning up each and every time. The clock has been their biggest enemy, and that's because they're waiting for some of these aggressive moves that ATOX are going for. And even though they've been in the right spots to deal with some of these aggressive moves, they've actually not been able to prevent ATOX getting impact out of them. This is staggering. TYLOO, a legendary organization within the Asia region for making it to the majors first. You know, when we had these qualifications, a Chinese team represented at majors was ridiculous. We met quarterfinals for TYLOO. Different roster, of course, but the organization itself, they made a statement by picking up the best team they could in the Chinese region that were constantly threatening at these RMRs.
And it feels like this organization has gone from being a guarantee to being a curse instead. They've gone international, they've gone for additions of Indonesian players, they've gone for whatever they can. They've now gone and bought their biggest rivals, and they still look like they are on the precipice of another RMR demise.
Yeah, it's in a weird way, them admitting defeat to some of their rivals. We can't beat them. Make them join us.
Don't think that's an option for ATOX. They can't buy him out. Especially not right now. They can't just change the flags up top. And with the hopes of millions of Chinese fans, TYLOO really need to turn this around. It's not out yet, but this might be the round where they need to make it happen. A Molotov will interrupt them. Oman is dead. He's trying to go inside the flames. He's trying desperately to make a play. But now Cabal and dobu will continue to lay down the defense. Where it was Mick and Zesta on the B-bomb site. The A site has just as stalwart defenders as well. Mercury low, welcoming death. And it will be received.
These pistols get chewed up and spit out by ATOX. Such a solid hold. Crunched them as they were moving in through camera. Not a single kill being found onto an ATOX defender. And who's gonna voice up, find that opener here for TYLOO, because you know, we're cutting to these cameras, we're hearing ATOX screaming, yelling, they just keep on riding the wave of excitement. They know that they have massively overcome a hurdle here against TYLOO, and this is a phenomenal start on the decider map.
TYLOO, in the meanwhile, they've gone from surfing the wave to now being right underneath. They're drowning, hoping for anything.
These are veterans.
A lifeline.
These are veterans on TYLOO. Expected to make it to the finals or one of the qualifying spots of this Asia RMR.
Zesta continuing to dominate, continuing to always be good for one, continuing to threaten for more, and that's exactly what he's looking for. Will collect as well. By the time the Molotov goes out in dark, Mercury will have to take a fair fight, one that's never fair with hands like Zesta's.
I just can't believe how well they are picking TYLOO apart. Kaze, that last man standing. First kill onto accuracy, who held that line with the AWP, but dobu's looking to try and collect on the trade. That smoke working against Kaze. This Malaysian AWPer that could. 40 seconds to really chew through this, but the bomb is in their possession. ATOX sit on top of that like a nest egg. And Kaze may just, he's giving up. 30 seconds, a number of angles to clear. He's trying to retreat with this AWP. ATOX are in TYLOO's heads. They are meeting them at the gates, and they're battling them off.
They're about to be in TYLOO's spot as well, up against potentially Grayhound, of course. I mean, with the way things are going, we don't really know even if they're going to be making it to the lower bracket consolidation final.
Yeah.
And, oh my god, Kaze might die. Kaze might die. Cabal's going to be turning the corner. Kaze misses! It is disaster! Going from bad to worse. The death of the dragon has been prophesied. And I think it's coming true.
This is heartbreaking. First major for these Chinese turncoats under that new organization. First RMR and a chance to go to the major, rather.
And ATOX, this is exactly what you needed. You needed to taste the victory over the hump. Of course, that's not something they've gotten yet. They cannot ease down.
No. These are inexperienced players. You know, they brought in Zesta and Accuracy 3 months ago from Good Gaming. Because these guys were good gamers. But the problem is, you know, when we see them on this type of a stage, we don't expect them to be able to put these performances together. This Mick just challenging, so confident into Canals. Took a wide face. And finally, there's some punishment here for TYLOO. They have space to reset. They actually have space to pull together some kind of macro choice, but they've still mainly got pistols.
Feels like they need to get every single round now on this D side, and you still have to go through a lot of utility on this A side. Robo's got a nade, he's got a Molotov. That, oh my god, nade flies through.
And it definitely pushes them off the angle they wanted to try and take. To look and hunt for that opener. Dobu, Molotov right behind it. The spam just so close, but not quite hitting the money. And there's Cabal to make sure that Dobu doesn't get overrun from his spot. It just fizzles up. A glimmer of hope. A light at the end of the tunnel of that round. And they realize it's shuttered.
ATOX are making the veterans look like retirees.
This is the biggest organization in China.
And I have to just add to this, ATOX as well is, as an org, right? You know, picking up the Eruption core, taking it forward, making these additions, really committing to it. Losing Yami, the best prospect in Mongolia, the best player, the most likely candidate to make it to the MongolZ, even more than Senzu. They lose him. And they're coming out. Not just strong, they're making a statement. They got destroyed in that first map.
They got destroyed against Grayhound too.
Yeah.
We saw potential in that Grayhound matchup because they found advantages, but this time they're getting the advantages and never relinquishing that to any of these stars, these so-called top-level players within the Chinese region. Right now, TYLOO are not showing that form.
Volley timing is great from dobu. Mercury's found Cabal as well. Mercury wants to keep it going, wants to prove his place over here, wants to show that he's the future, but right now he's got no future. Not in this RMR, not like this. Mick making his way over, accuracy as well, keeps the threat going. They cannot plant this bomb, not like this. The trade is there, Zesta's ready, of course he is, and Oman struggling, floundering, drowning.
As soon as they feel like they have a small gap, there is always another head to this Hydra. They just keep on cutting limbs, and to emerge, it's actually unfathomable that ATOX have yet to concede a singular round. Hell, I mean, if we dismiss pistols, what's their track record from Inferno? We have had 4 rounds in the past, what, 26?
Yeah.
27, I guess?
Lots. Rare miss from accuracy, but rare challenge as well. It's in fact Jamyang to continue through, get 1, Omen makes it 2, and Cabal burning inside the flames. TYLOO might be about to break their streak of losses, but Cabal will not make it easy. Oman is low as well. If they move through the smoke, they are going to be inviting death upon themselves. Cabal is holding down the line, letting Zesta come through on the flank. It's a very late one, so despite them being aware of the possibility, might not be fully contested.
I like this, though. They paced up, they got these 2 openers, and they slowed things down, but there's Zesta on his exploration, actually kind of boxing them into the idea, so TYLOO actually might have to accelerate forward, because Zesta could potentially flank them canals, actually just be such a disruptive force.
Mick is ready for this rotate back towards the B-bomb site, so Zesta, this is what they're predicting. Will it come true? It all depends on Mercury and whatever he's able to find over here. Cabal reveals his position. They know where he is. They want to isolate him out. They know he should be the only player on this site right now, but Oman, low, Kaze, low. Cabal can't find them.
I mean, on 9 HP, Cabal surviving is a miracle, and that nade, had it sailed in the correct spot, could have been a breaker, but Oman sitting close to the smoke. It finally feels like TYLOO have everything to play for. They need to save face, somehow turn this ship around. A 4-on-2. And these players are weakened. These are not favorable fights. Mick trying to tap that first player away. Kaze dropped, and Oman's got his hands on an AWP, but they have just bled this clock dry. ATOX don't really have the time to weasel around for this one, and so Mercury and Advent close in for finally a TYLOO round.
I can't imagine they're particularly happy about it, but at least it's a start. Jamyang, great kill down middle. Oman's there on the follow-up as well, and that willingness to commit from Oman, which hasn't really been giving him everything so far, to be honest, but it's good to see that it is now sometimes paying off. Maybe if they can continue something like this, get that mid-control again, that is something TYLOO's gotten very often, right?
Yeah.
Mid-control they receive, but then they can't do anything with it. So there is a strategy in there somewhere, but they need to find it, and they need to transition it, because there's only one more T-side round.
Yeah, and part of the problem is that they simply wait when they get that mid-control. You know, a lot of it's been, oh, ATOX are going to do something to counteract the fact that we have this space. And then they're just locking down the actual bomb site plays. And by the time they actually get entries, ATOX are there with heavy rotates.
Because Zesta's finding it so free to push forward outside
Yeah.
of B, so he has that instant reaction. You don't have to reinforce mid the same way.
But it's like the longer they've played this T side, the more that they've had these open fights on B, and ATOX have been winning them.
Yeah.
TYLOO are just trying to pack together to make sure that doesn't happen, and it leaves vulnerabilities. But you got to concede something. You know, you got to give up a little bit of map control mainly to get the better trading, because they certainly need the manpower.
Kaze is holding down for a push. He's really hoping that something is given to him. Anything at all except for a bullet.
dark. Catches Mercury and does a lot of damage. Had to worry about Mick peeking behind it as well, but there's a deep smoke. Burned by Tease as well. Accuracy. Bit of a one and done position, but actually had Jamyoung locked in, but misses his shot, and Jamyoung and Kaze have found the openers they may need.
Mercury spotted out Zesta through the gap in the smoke made by the grenade, and Jamyoung continues forward, so TYLOO will be able to pick up at least 2. Oman to guarantee it. Kaze to be the one to be getting the kill as well.
Well,
it's not pretty.
It certainly isn't, and that was their best looking round for sure. Just being able to get opening kills, kills through smoke, capturing these ATOX players, trying to keep challenging round the sides of the utility. But you can hardly feel happy about how that T side has gone. T side on Anubis is favored. One of the few maps in the pool that is currently the case. And you know, we started to see it stabilize, it's equalizing a little bit. But you need more than 2 if you're TYLOO. ATOX can take some risks, but they have played with such focus this game that this Chinese squad, this legendary organization within the region, could be eliminated in the first day where we have to send home these teams. And the worst part about it would be, if this is how it finishes, it wasn't even close. What a journey this ATOX team has had from getting brutalized. Opening round against Grayhound, opening round here against TYLOO. And now sit in a commanding position.
Resilience is something that cannot be doubted in them. But you need to take it across the finish line. Can't consider this a done deal. Been too many turnarounds, too many broken hearts at the RMRs. And a B-side execute in the pistol run is what they're hoping will send them to the lower bracket consolidation final. Mercury playing from behind the smoke. The spam will find nothing. The bomb is not making its way through yet. Accuracy should have a free plant. TYLOO's shown us one magical retake on Inferno's pistol. Do they have another in them? Might be hard with dobu coming in from behind. Kaze is going to be dead before he can deploy that utility. It's all irrelevant, and now dobu continues to threaten and hold down the last 2 players on the CT side. His position cannot be dealt with. Advent instead moves forward. He moves forward, hoping to be able to find an opportunity. Instead, he finds death.
dobu just jumping around and having a ball of a time. That kill feed was flooded by ATOX members. You needed to see some fight back from TYLOO, but now they sit staring into the void. ATOX are there to send them packing.
The worst part of this is also for TYLOO that their style that it has taken them so far is really not conducive to huge individual performances either. So at no point in this map did we see someone where thinking, oh, you know, but this guy's playing really well. Maybe he can pull out some rounds.
Yeah, I think there's only really one map in their pool that really works like that. And that's maybe Overpass with Mercury. But they're far and few between.
They banned that map, so
yeah.
Don't know if they would agree with you.
They had some struggles as of late, but would it have been better than this?
We'll never know. Eco from TYLOO. They want to be in the jaws of death before they try and defy it, but sometimes death just bites.
Yeah, the jaws of this dragon. Unfortunately, maybe they needed those dentures.
It'll take more than a dentist appointment to fix what's going on overhead, though.
There's just no fire behind this TYLOO play at the moment, and on pistols, you can't exactly be the most persuaded that this is a round they'll make too convincing. Nice long-ranged kill there on the P2K. But ATOX punch in those digits. They guard the gun. They're ready to play out this post plan. They are not overstepping. They're playing within the sights together. And there are no problems here for ATOX locking in that bomb. A 12-2 scoreline. They have 10 swings to push TYLOO out of this tournament right here, right now. A team of Mongolian players that haven't had the same opportunities, that aren't really considered in that same conversation in terms of making it to the Mongols. We don't have these hot young prospects that Blitz is like, oh yeah, you know, I can make that guy work. This is a newer in-game leader, somebody else that's serving to be a brain within the Mongolian scene, working with pieces that have always been solid.
And I can tell you right now, Zesta and Accuracy were not rated highly before joining this team, not in the local community.
Just consistent.
Yeah.
They were seen as consistent.
They were all right. Zesta's not just all right now. He's the main punching power in Anubis.
And they've powered up massively throughout this best of 3. No more chances. TYLOO could be out.
TYLOO should be out. There's no shoulds. There are only certainties, and it's a certainty that ATOX wants to realize. ATOX wants to go at least one step further than their last adventure in the RMR, eliminated at 5th place in Paris's qualification process. They lost to a team that they should have won to, and now they might be beating a team that they should have lost against. Molotov is missed. Oman will be given a bit more space. Not that he will be able to get much off it. Pushing through dark. Mercury will be contested. He needs to replicate some of that success from Zesta. Moving past and behind these smokes, it is going to be the first kill found, but he's traded too quick. Cabal making Zesta all littering the scoreboard. Advent and Kaze, the only ones left, and as they double up through dark. Flashes in their faces. Advent looking for Zesta, but it feels like he's been looking for him all game long. The approach to be the last breaths he's taking. It will be elimination. TYLOO to fall. The curse of the dragon is very real.
ATOX playing well above their weight. They destroy, absolutely decimate TYLOO. A team that we have pinned as favorites. They want to be the ones that make the RMR. They struggled in the past few years. The organization